All right, let's now welcome Advocate Gary Pienaar, who's an independent researcher, as well as Professor Daniel Meyer, who is a professor at the College of Business and Economics at the University of Johannesburg. Advocate Pienaar, Professor Meyer, thanks so much to both of you. Welcome to SA Today. Let's first initial reaction to the tabled reports by the Gauteng Premier early this morning. Advocate, let's start with you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I think, first of all, I would welcome the disclosure, these reports and their recommendations. It's important, I think, for transparency to be demonstrated in this way, so I would commend you for doing so. I think what is important next is to watch these various processes. I believe that the reports have been disclosed to the media, so they will report on what the recommendations are for disciplinary action or civil recovery or criminal charges to be investigated. So I think it's important to also then maintain that level of transparency throughout these processes, because I think that is what will build the necessary confidence among the public that indeed there is a greater level of accountability here as well as just transparency.
Absolutely, Advocate. Professor, your reaction?
Yes, afternoon. I would say the two components were the forensic reports that were done. This is the second batch of reports. And then also the other important action was the removal and reshuffle of HODs towards improved service delivery within Gauteng province. But we know this is politics, and the Premier wants to show he's doing something, at least in the run-up to next year's election. So he needs to do something to satisfy the voters. And I know the ANC only had 34% of the vote, and it doesn't look good for next year. So he needs to show some action. So it is commended that he did something that's going to be implemented.
Absolutely. Professor, I mean, in terms of the appointment as well of the chief economist, this appointment will actually aid specifically for the future orders of the city. And how do you see we as well as the public actually benefit from such appointments, actually those permanent appointments to ensure, as of course the advocate has said, ensure stability as well as accountability within this department?
As the World Economic Forum report on the future of government indicates, we need to appoint the best of, and some of these appointments, we cannot say the appointment of the best people. So we need to relook. Some of these HODs are moved from, for example, the education department to infrastructure department. And I can't see that makes any sense. But I think you asked about the economics department. Look, the economics department has a very good structure. We work a lot with them. They've got very good staff. I'm not 100% sure who new HOD. I think I've seen that he has moved from various other institutions over the last number of years. It seems like he's moving around quite a lot. But the structure at the Gauteng Department of Economic Development seems good. And they are a quite experienced team. So I've got confidence in them that they can do have a good strategy, and the implementing is the problem usually at the government.
And advocate, I mean, let's maybe expand on those governance issues within the COGs have seemingly gone unchecked or unaddressed for quite a long time. It is now in a total state of decay, making one wonder if they will actually even be able to meet the obligations at G20 summit. I mean, systematic issues of service delivery continue with no tangible solutions put to the fore.
I think that's the presidency headed that the presidency is permanently monitoring that improvement takes place. So I think with that level of interim focus, one hopes that the necessary skills are brought to bear to address these issues. I'm not sure that reshuffling sideways, as Prof Meyer has indicated, I'm not sure that's a solution or that's adequate accountability. I think, not aware of the backgrounds or the skills or the suitability of the reshuffle. When it comes to the cities, I think the presidency apparently is there with boots on the ground, and has taken a hands-on approach to assisting the cities to step up and address these systemic problems. I think the question is, let's watch and see whether or not anything changes as a result of the reshuffle and the presidency's presence ahead of the G20.
Professor Meyer, do you think they will even be able to reach these obligations before, of course, we're set for the G20 summit?
Look, I also work a lot of City of Johannesburg. I wouldn't like to be the municipal manager of such a massive organization of 40,000 staff members. There's been a decay in the service delivery in City of Johannesburg over the last, let's say, 20 years at least. And how to turn this around in 6 months, it's an impossible task to do. So I just hope that they can fix some of the major issues. But to turn around the city of Johannesburg with their service delivery, with the current staff component and the coalition government so unstable in terms of the political side of it, I cannot see that they can deliver a perfectly operating city within 6 months. It's basically impossible. It will not happen, but they can fix on the outside a little bit of the potholes, the main routes, fix the robots, those type of things. But there's also a lot of theft and crime. Robot intersection, the next day they steal all of the cables, the lights surrounding the highways. You can see how that's been stolen every day. So it's a big uphill battle to fight within the city. Not be fixed by end of the year. That's an impossible task.
I mean, Advocate, let's look at, of course, the proposed anti-corruption strategy that seeks to prevent and as well detect and also investigate and also respond to the alleged acts of corruption. How do you see this playing out, specifically looking at the current of course scenario that we have, where allegations of corruption are not just within certain departments, but they go far beyond that? How do you think, of course, this strategy will actually be addressed just from a City of Johannesburg perspective?
Look, I think we've seen these investigations producing findings and recommendations before. I think really for the city is to finalize these disciplinary processes or these civil recovery processes far more quickly, and to achieve tangible outcomes and to ensure accountability much more quickly. Then I think people who are in the system, who are public servants, will see that accountability follows efficiently and swiftly and surely. That, I think, provides the greatest incentive to not commit similar offences or similar acts of misconduct, and it will provide a preventative message. I think that the problem is with the delays in these proceedings. Is that people think they can get away with this indefinitely on paid leave or whatever it is, and there's no real sense of accountability. There needs, I think, to be an efficiency in the disciplinary process, accountability process, so that I think people then will think twice before becoming involved in these kinds of acts of misconduct, this kind of inefficiency, this kind of waste of public monies. I think that's for the city. I mean, I agree that doing all of this before the end of the year is a huge ask. But this is an opportunity. The Premier has upped the ante. He's thrown down the gauntlet, and he said, "Hold me accountable. I'm doing something." I think the media now to monitor very closely what actions actually follow and whether something different is seen.
Mm-hmm. All right, and maybe in closing, just a quick one, Professor Meyer, then the introduction of those lifestyle audits as well is a welcome one. We've seen also the Premier even dismissing those who have actually failed their assessment. So,
a huge step in the right direction as well.
I agree with that, and I think that the Premier is under pressure in terms of his own political future. He wants to act, it seems like he wants to act very rapidly at this point of time. We have seen there's deep-rooted corruption in the Gauteng provincial departments, all of them. And this internal forensic unit, it's an internal unit within the Premier's office, has done good work, but it is internal, and maybe there should also be external supervision on what is this report, which reports are released and which are not released, and so on. So it's very internal, and we need to have also some external supervision over that. But I also that there should be more consequences, although 1 or 2 people has been removed because of the lifestyle audit, but there's many more cases like that. It's going to be transgressions, but it seems like something is happening in terms of consequences, and it is good news. So it's not all bad news. There's deep root, it needs to be resolved. A lot of government officials are still doing business with government, and that has not stopped yet. And we are still going backwards in terms of the World Bank governance indicator index. We're going backwards in terms of Africa, and we need good governance, growth and development going into the future.
Thank you so much. That is, of course, Professor Daniel Meyer there. He's an economist at UJ, with Advocate Gary Pina there, who's an independent researcher on the Gauteng Premier's report early this morning.